Well, we are back on Morning Line. It is Nick Barris along with Allison Fields. It just made my day. It was funny, I kind of had lost track over the weekend again exactly who was coming on today. I knew you were coming, but I wasn't sure today. And I asked Mary Elena, and it just pepped me up down in the newsroom.
So glad.
It's going to be Allison. I like talking about people's pets and animals. You can give us a call if you'd like. Let me ask you, so what is last time, and I know she's been a year or so since she's been on, you were really a strong advocate. There's some great flea treatments of the pill.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say we had a large supply of the application that you put behind, and we're going through it, and I've talked with my wife, and we're going to look into getting the pill next. What is anything new, or is that still the way to go?
There's not been anything really new since last year. So the oral flea and tick controls are the quickest kill, so they kill things the quickest. They're also super easy, chewable treat, give to your dog.
Yeah.
So those are still.
What are the brand names? Can you name a few of them that you know?
There's
I don't want you to.
Simparica, Bravecto, NexGard, Credelio. There's others that I can't remember.
Okay, but you would say, is that the way more people are going? And are they comparable in price to the application
They're more
ones?
expensive.
A little more expensive, okay.
But the application ones are also, there's not a patent on them anymore. They've, so there's generics, and the prices have come down because they've been out for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And so, those were the best things we had when they came out. And when they came out, they were very expensive compared to flea collars and 7-Dust, which is what we were using before the topicals.
I can remember that years ago.
Right. So these are more expensive. They do work better. They work quicker. I don't want to say they work better. Everybody still kills the fleas and the ticks, but they do have a quicker kill time and the ease of application, especially, people who have small children in the household may not want to have to worry about whether the kid's sticking their hand in it on the dog.
Sure.
So yes, they are more expensive. Now we have a combination product, Simparica Trio, that does heartworms, some intestinal parasites, and fleas and ticks. So it's one pill.
I love that.
For almost everything, which is great. And comparatively, the cost of that is the same or less than doing heartworm prevention and flea and tick control, two separate pills.
And having to remember with separate ones. We just hit at the beginning of every month, and it's my wife who always remembers this, we have to give our dogs their heartworm. And then we just also sometimes give them the flea treatment, which gets me to this now. As we're getting to the cooler months now and into winter, what is your recommendation again for flea treatment? Do you want to continue it year-round, or can you ease off?
I recommend it year-round.
Okay.
Mainly because what we see, the most common time that I see a flea infestation on a dog is in either January or February.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, it makes sense because we quit using our flea and tick controls in October because we had one nice cool night.
Okay.
And then we get some more fleas fleas on us, and we're not using our flea control anymore. We turn the heat up in the house. The fleas lay eggs. Flea eggs hatch when the temperature is above a certain degree for a number of days. So by January, February, we've had the 50 whatever days above 70 whatever degrees, and they're like, woohoo, it's spring, and they hatch out, and then we have a flea explosion in homes in the middle of winter, and everybody's like, I don't understand how this can happen. That's how it happens.
Makes perfect sense.
So the other thing now, since a lot of people are using the combination heartworm and flea and tick control combined, you can't separate it.
Yeah, because you do heartworm every month for sure.
You do heartworm every month because we have mosquitoes here. I've killed a mosquito in January every year that I've lived in Tennessee. So you can't separate that, so we're still doing it. So it's just easier just to say, just continue.
Okay, makes great sense. Just keep it up, go stay on the routine forever. A lot of the costs we were talking about, and some people have asked me before, because I look into it and they know I have a lot of animals, about pet insurance. How do you feel about it? Just real quick, just so you know, it's a little different than ours in that I think almost every single one I know about is where you have your insurance policy for whatever it covers. You take your dog to the veterinarian, Allison treats it, I pay Allison. Allison gives me the documentation of what I spent on. You send that to your insurance carrier and then they reimburse you.
It's like insurance for people was when we were little.
Okay. right.
When we were little, our parents took us to the doctor. They paid the doctor. They took it home. They submitted to the insurance, and they got reimbursed.
Yeah. Okay. So it means you don't have to worry. It's not another headache for you having to file claims with an insurance company. It's up to us. But I've been researching this, and there's a lot of them out there. And to me, aside from finding the coverage I want, and this is where I want your advice, is the most important thing to me is I don't want a bunch of crap when I send that form to them. Okay, as long as I'm following the guidelines, I don't want, we don't cover this, we don't cover that.
Yeah.
Shut up. I chose you. I did it right. Get it to me. I don't want any questions asked.
That's going to be a tricky thing.
Well, there's got to be some that are better than others then.
Pet insurance still can't exclude pre-existing conditions.
Well, if it's under the guidelines, I understand. I don't want to claim for something I don't have in the policy.
Dewey has had an ear infection in the past.
Okay.
And you get insurance for accident, illness, and, injury. They're not ever going to cover anything to do with his ears, period. So the best time to get pet insurance is when you first get the pet, whether it's a baby or whatever, because there are no pre-existing conditions.
Right.
Then everything is covered. Some of the health insurance companies that I have worked with and that owners tell me they haven't had problems with are Trupanion, Healthy Paws, there's another one out there.
Rick, what's yours? Healthy Paws.
Healthy Paws, Trupanion.
I've heard of
there's another one that I can't think of.
Okay, because there's some rankings, some of the magazines and stuff, have put rankings.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was thinking, you talked about an ear infection. Now, I have an English Bulldog, which is one reason I'm looking into this. English Bulldogs, as they get older, are known to have more problems. That's just the nature of that breed, I guess, right?
Yes.
You warned me about that. And Rick has one called Embrace, a health policy called Embrace. But anyway, so I was thinking, I don't mind paying out of pocket for an ear infection, or if he has skin condition like bulldogs sometimes get, we have to get some salve. I want a policy that will cover for the more major, like if he were to tear a hamstring or something where he needs a surgery or whatever. So what about those policies?
So you have usually a choice of getting like a wellness coverage and accident, injury, illness, or just the accident, injury, illness. Financially, it looks like that second option is better for most people because the premium skyrockets when you add in the wellness stuff.
Yeah.
So you could just pay that out of pocket annually and then pay the smaller premium for the accident, injury, and illness.
Which, if we're lucky, Dewey will never have anything huge, and we'll just pay the little stuff. But what are the kind of conditions that you see with dogs sometimes that can be very expensive that are not all that uncommon?
Dermatology cases, especially in a bulldog.
Okay, so would that one be, is that a wellness, or is that, that would fit under?
Illness.
Oh, good. Okay, so I could get a coverage for that.
If he hasn't had anything documented already that was a skin problem.
Okay. Yeah, we have
because they'll ask for your records.
Right.
So they will ask for the records when you sign up, and then they'll go through it and they'll tag ear infection, skin infection, and they'll be like, these things are not covered.
Okay.
Even if I have a patient who's a 12-year-old dog who had an ear infection when he was a tiny puppy, like 16 weeks old, never had another ear problem until he was 11. They would not cover it because he had an ear infection when he was 16 weeks old. It had nothing to do with the problem now, but because But
how expensive is a dermatology care? I know it can be expensive, but I mean, if it's usually some kind of ointment, maybe an antibiotic you give them.
Yeah, but it depends on if it's just one time and it's healed, fine. But for these chronic cases of this dog has, horrible skin allergies and is, they're at the doctor, they need injections, so it can get very expensive.
Okay.
I think the pet insurance is a great idea. I think you need to do your homework. I would definitely use one of the companies that's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
There's a lot that have popped up recently.
The ones I've looked at, I've seen some that you're like, wow, that's inexpensive. I've seen some that are super. The ones I've kind of looked at kind of run that I thought fit the bill, and I don't know if you know any of the rates, but it was like between $60 and $80 a month.
That's probably about right.
Okay, so you're talking over $800 a year, but I think that's money well spent. Now, there's some that were more, there were some that were less, and I'm like, that cheap, I don't know how good they'd be.
So the lesser ones probably are just covering wellness. The more expensive ones are probably covering both.
So
the other thing you just need to think about, and this is something that I counsel all of my clients about, if you're a good saver, if you told yourself, I'm going to put $100 a month into a special account for my pets, and you'll do that.
Yeah.
In a year, you'll have $1,200. In 2 years, you'll have $2,400. And if you just keep paying your wellness stuff out of pocket, at some point in time, if Dewey blows out a knee and needs a knee surgery for $5,000, you'll have that.
Right.
So if you're a saver and can say, I'm going to do this and set this money aside and only use it for the big things,
it's like a health
you're
savings
not giving
account
your
for the
money
pet.
away. Right. It's like a health savings account.
Yeah.
Whereas with health insurance, just like with us, you're going to pay that premium whether you use it or not.
You may never use it. Okay.
And so you need to be willing to lose that $800 a year as a just in case. Or if you would save it, then maybe do that. So
something to think about.
Something
that's
to think about.
Excellent point.
And I have some younger clients who are like, you know what, that's a great idea. I'm going to start a savings account right now. I'm going to do the health insurance for the first couple of years while I'm building that savings account.
Okay.
And then once they hit, a certain number, they're like, I'm going to cancel my health insurance because I'm paying for all the wellness stuff out of pocket anyway.
Yeah.
And now I have this savings account. I started a savings account for my cats when I was in college.
Gammon?
No, Moliere.
Mohair? Mohair's?
Moliere.
Moliere. Oh,
yeah.
You're the best animals.
I started a savings account when I was in college because he swallowed a needle with a piece of string with thread attached, and I had to have that taken out, which in 1991, a $450 surgery was very expensive.
That's a chunk of change, especially for a college student. Gosh.
Right.
Okay. Point taken. All right, listen, we got to take a break on that note. When we come back, we can squeeze a call in or two if you'd like to join us. More of our conversations. It's going to be our final segment. This hour is going fast. I'm spending a lot of time talking to you. Hopefully, people are just listening. So we'll be back with Allison Fields and more right after this.